Florida Grandma's Beach House Revenge. Dorothy Dottie Malone was 72 years old and proud owner of a pale yellow beachfront cottage on Anna Maria Island, just off the Gulf Coast of Florida. The house sat on a quiet stretch of Holmes Beach, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, wide-screened porch facing the water, and a private path straight to sugar-white sand. Her husband Frank, a commercial fisherman, had bought the lot in 1975 for peanuts and built the house himself. When he passed from lung cancer 12 years ago, the house became hers outright, no mortgage, low taxes, and the kind of view people paid millions for these days. Dottie lived simply. She rose early, walked the beach collecting shells, made strong coffee on the stove, and spent afternoons reading mysteries in her favorite wicker chair on the porch. Her gray hair was cut short and practical, her skin tanned and freckled from decades under the Florida sun, and she still wore the gold anchor necklace Frank had given her on their 30th anniversary. Her only daughter, Karen, was 45, married to Brian Walsh, a former real estate agent who claimed to be between ventures. 7 years earlier, Brian's latest get-rich-quick scheme, a condo flip in Tampa, collapsed during a market dip. They lost their rental deposit, maxed out credit cards, and showed up at Dottie's door with suitcases and sad stories. "Mom, we just need a place to land for a few months," Karen had said, eyes red from crying. "Brian's got leads. We'll be out by summer." Dottie opened her arms and her home. She gave them the master bedroom with the ocean view, moved herself into the smaller guest room, and turned the 3rd bedroom into Brian's office. She paid the electric bill that tripled with their constant air conditioning, covered the skyrocketing homeowner's insurance, bought groceries for 3 instead of 1, and even sprang for high-speed internet and the full cable package because Brian needed it for market research. A few months turned into 7 years. Brian never found steady work. He day traded crypto from the kitchen table, lost more than he made, started a dropshipping business that went nowhere, and spent most afternoons on the porch drinking beer and scrolling fantasy football apps. Karen picked up occasional shifts as a server at a tourist restaurant on Bridge Street, but tips were seasonal and thin. The house slowly changed. Brian hung flat-screen TVs in the living room and master bedroom, bought on Dottie's credit card with promises of repayment that never came. He claimed the porch recliner as his throne, scattered empty cans on the teak table, and blasted sports radio so loud the neighbors complained. He redecorated the living room with Miami Dolphins memorabilia, blankets, pillows, a neon sign that buzzed all night. Dottie adjusted. She ate earlier so they could have the kitchen later. Watched her British dramas on the tiny TV in her bedroom with the volume low. Cleaned up after their late-night snacks. Kept quiet when Brian mocked her shell collection as old lady junk. Karen never stood up to him. "He's under a lot of pressure, Mom," she'd whisper. "Just give him space." Dottie gave and gave until there was almost nothing left of her own space. The final straw came on a perfect Saturday in early February. The Gulf was calm, the sky cloudless, and tourists crowded the beach with umbrellas and laughter. Dottie had claimed the living room early, a rare treat for herself. She settled into the big armchair by the sliding doors, sunlight pouring in, watching a gentle Hallmark romance with the volume soft. A pitcher of fresh squeezed lemonade sat on the coffee table beside her latest shell arrangement, perfect scallop shells in a glass bowl. The front door slammed. Brian strode in wearing board shorts and sunglasses, cooler in one hand, remote in the other. Karen followed with grocery bags from Publix. "All right, Dot. Time's up," Brian announced, not even glancing at her. "Heat game's on in 10. This living room's mine tonight, playoff implications." He snatched the remote and flipped channels until basketball highlights filled the screen. "Volume up." Announcers shouting. Dottie blinked. "Brian, I'm in the middle of something. Can't we share? Or watch in the bedroom?" He laughed, a sharp bark. "Nah, old lady. Go knit or whatever you do. Porch is nice this time of day. Or your room." Living room's for the game. Karen set bags on the counter, avoiding her mother's eyes. Dottie waited. One word from her daughter would have changed everything. "1 Brian, don't talk to my mom like that." Instead, Karen murmured, "Mom, it's just one game. Let him have it." That quiet betrayal landed like a slap. Dottie felt something shift inside her chest, not rage, not tears, but a cool, steady certainty. She stood slowly, lemonade untouched, and walked to her bedroom without a word. Brian hooped as the pre-game show started. "That's right. Respect the house rules." In her room, Dottie closed the door softly. She opened the cedar chest at the foot of her bed and pulled out the waterproof folder marked "Important Papers." Inside, the original deed, recorded in Manatee County, sole owner Dorothy F. Malone. No tenants. No lease. Nothing in writing. She sat at her small desk, opened her laptop, and searched Florida eviction laws family no rent. The rules were clear. Without a written lease, even family members living rent-free become month-to-month tenants after 90 days. Landlord can terminate with 15 days notice. That night, while Brian screamed at referees and Karen brought him fresh beers, Dottie emailed an old friend from the island, retired Judge Clara Mendoza, whose late husband had handled Frank's estate. Clara still consulted part-time and knew every real estate attorney on the Gulf Coast. Next morning, Dottie dressed in her best linen pants and blouse, drove across the bridge to Bradenton, and met Clara for coffee at a quiet cafe. Clara listened without interrupting. When Dottie finished, she nodded once. "Emotional elder abuse at minimum. But you want legal, not drama." "Legal," Dottie confirmed. "Clean and final." Clara made calls. By afternoon, Dottie had an appointment with attorney Luis Rivera, sharp, young, and fierce on landlord rights. He drafted a notice to terminate tenancy at will, 15 days to vacate. Added a demand letter for back rent at fair market value, $4,000 per month for 7 years. Over $300,000. Uncollectible probably, but the number made a statement. Professional process server hired. No family confrontation. 3 days later, mid-morning. Brian was still asleep. Karen at work. Server knocked, handed Karen the envelope when she returned early. Service for Brian Walsh and Karen Malone. Karen called her mother in hysterics. "Mom. Eviction papers? You're throwing us out?" Brian's texts came fast and furious. Threats. Insults. Begging. Dottie read none of them. She blocked both numbers temporarily. That evening, she called Spectrum. Remove premium sports package. Downgrade to basic cable. Next, Tico Electric. Transfer billing to tenant name or suspend service pending repairs. Internet, slowest speed possible. Water, left on, for now. The supplementary card Karen used for groceries and gas? Cancelled cold. The fallout was swift and satisfying. First night without premium channels, Heat playoff game blacked out. Brian raged, called customer service, learned the account holder had changed the plan. Stormed into Dottie's room. "Fix the damn TV." Dottie sipped tea. Budget changes. 2 days later, Publix run. Karen loaded cart with lobster tails, craft beer, organic everything. At checkout, card declined. Beeps echoing. Line growing. Cashier sympathetic but firm. Karen left the cart, face burning, drove home in tears. They confronted Dottie on the porch at sunset. "You're cutting us off?" Brian shouted. "After all we've been through?" Dottie rocked gently in her chair. "You've had 7 years free. Time to stand on your own." Karen pleaded. "Mom, we'll pay something. Just give us more time." "Time was the gift," Dottie replied. "Gift's over." They lawyered up with a cheap attorney who demanded negotiation. Dottie refused. 15 days passed. They didn't leave. Luis filed eviction in Manatee County Court. Hearing scheduled fast, Florida courts move quickly on residential cases. Court day arrived hot and humid. Small courtroom in Bradenton. Judge Elena Torres, no patience for games. Brian's attorney argued hardship, implied Dottie was senile, claimed they were primary caregivers. Dottie testified calmly. Bank statements projected on screen, 7 years of utilities, insurance, $18,000 annual now, taxes, repairs, all paid solely by her. Grocery receipts. Transfers to their accounts labeled help. Then the incident. He called me old lady and ordered me out of my own living room. My daughter said nothing. Judge Torres leaned forward. In your fully paid home on beachfront property worth over $2 million? Louise presented comparable rentals, $5,000 to $7,000 monthly off-season. Brian blustered on the stand. Admitted no rent ever paid. No written agreement. Claimed verbal forever deal. Judge ruled from the bench. Judgment for plaintiff. Writ of possession in 5 days unless vacated. Defendants liable for costs and reasonable attorney fees. Case referred to Adult Protective Services for emotional abuse investigation. Brian stormed out cursing. Karen lingered, mascara streaking. Mom, how could you? Dottie met her eyes. I love you, Karen. But love isn't lifetime freeloading. Come visit when you have your own place. They scrambled. Found a cramped 1-bedroom inland near Sarasota, $2,800 monthly. Brian blamed Karen. Your mom's fault we're broke. Karen left him 6 months later. Dottie changed locks the day after they left. Hired cleaners to scrub beer stains and dolphin decor residue. Repainted the living room soft seafoam. Restored her shell displays. The house felt enormous and peaceful. But quiet, too. At the Island Book Club, friends mentioned short-term rentals. Anna Maria allowed them with permits. Dottie listed the cottage on Airbnb and VRBO, peak season rates $800 to $1,200 nightly. Bookings flooded. Snowbirds, families, honeymooners. She earned more in one season than Brian ever dreamed. With the income, Dottie took her first real vacation in decades, a 2-week Caribbean cruise with 3 widows from church. She danced under stars, ate lobster without guilt, collected shells from new beaches. Karen visited once, alone, staying in a nearby motel. They walked the beach at sunset. I'm sorry, Mom, Karen said quietly. I should have stood up for you. Dottie linked arms with her daughter. Lesson learned. Now we both move forward. They rebuilt slowly, lunches, phone calls, no overnights. Dottie kept renting most of the year, but blocked February and August for herself. She reclaimed the porch recliner, watched sunsets with lemonade, read her mysteries, and listened to waves instead of sports radio. One evening, a guest left a note, "This house feels like love lives here." Dottie smiled, pinned it to the fridge. Love did live there again, her own, finally. Did you like the story and which city are you listening from? Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.